Hello everyone, I'm Mila from Invictus Studio. Today I will show you how to make a wiggle mechanism which is perfect for animating follow-through motion with only one bone. You can also use it for cloth simulation or handmade flag animation. With all that said, let's get started. To start, I have my model ready with all of its transforms set to default. You can ensure that by pressing Ctrl A and resetting all of the transformation channels. After that, I will start adding bones to match my eel. The body will be made out of a single bone that is subdivided, and the head is rotated 180 degrees on the Z-axis so that it has correct pivot point when rotating. Bone closest to the head will be parented to it. Select the base bone, then select head bone, Ctrl P and select keep offset. I will add two more bones, one that is extruded at the tip of the tail and one that will just be at the side. You need to make sure that those two bones are not marked as deformation, otherwise vertices will be skinned to them. Before creating mechanism, I will quickly assign mesh to the armature. Select the mesh, shift select the armature, press Ctrl P and choose with automatic weights. Blender will do the weight painting for us. Now we can create the mechanism, and to do so, follow these steps. Select the bone that was extruded, then shift select its parent. With Ctrl Shift C, select the damped track constraint and set its influence to 0.5. Repeat the entire process down the chain until you come to the head bone, which you will skip. If I were to move head now, the chain is acting pretty weird. Even if I cancel my movement with right click, it is still broken. The fix I found is really strange. Remember the unused bone that we created earlier? Now I will use it by simply entering a keyframe in the timeline. Any keyframe will be good for this purpose. If I were to move the head, it is still broken, but when I press play, everything works perfectly. I can move it and get real-time response. So this was really weird and you probably want an explanation. In hindsight, I'm breaking the rules of rigging by creating cyclic dependency. This is when parent influences the child, but the child is influencing its parent and that creates infinite cycle. Such behavior confuses Blender and it gives us bad results. We saw that in the beginning when I cancelled the movement, the chain was still deformed. That is one of the signs to spot cyclic dependency on your rigs. In my case, I'm using it to my advantage. Let's look at a random bone in the chain. It is following transformation of its parent, and on top of that, its child is telling it where to look due to the damped track constraint. That is why I set the influence to be 0.5. At 1, it will completely override parenting, and at 0, it will do nothing. Combination of these two gives us behavior of our rig. As of why you need an active keyframe in the scene, I simply don't know. For that you need to ask a Blender developer. Now, if I wanted to animate it, let's say I wanted to swim, I just need to animate the head. The rest of the body will follow in a very smooth way. I will cover how I made this animation if this video reaches 50 likes. This is super cool and simple to replicate, but as I said in the beginning, it can also be used for cloth simulation. If you use it for pieces of cloth that will react to the movement of the character, you can just slap this mechanism and you're good to go. If you wanted to make something like flag, you need a couple of more steps. Obviously, you need more chains to get smoother results. Fortunately, you can just copy the one with exact mechanism I just created. Instead of the head, I have a root bone to control everything. Every bone at the base will be parented to it. If the chain gets funky, just press space and it will be back in the rest position. Remember to have an active keyframe in the scene. Disable deformation on the bones which will not control the mesh directly, and then parent your flag to the armature with automatic weights. Now to animate, there are a couple of principles to follow. Animate left to right motion alongside with the down up motion of the bone on the base of the chain. Then just copy keyframes to other bones. Second step is to go to graph editor and unhide all of the curves that might be hidden with Alt H. Then select them all and press Shift E and then choose make cyclic. If some curves become cubic, just duplicate the curve manually. Then you want to offset the keyframes from each bone. For example, second bone is offsetted by 2 frames, third is offsetted by 4, and so on and on. The third step is to break the cyclic look, and for that you need to break the entire animation and apply noise afterwards. For better demonstration, I will bump up the duration of the animation to 240 frames, which is 10 seconds. To bake the animation, you need to select the bones that you want, then go to the pose, animation, bake action. Ensure that visual keying is enabled and that clear constraints is disabled. Otherwise, whole rig will be broken. After that, select the curve that you need and apply the noise modifier. Tweak the value for the random look and repeat for the rest of the bones. To speed everything up, there is a button that allows you to copy curve modifiers, and they will keep their values that you gave them. This type of rig has its pros, but also the cons. Cons are that you don't get that smooth result as if you use simulation. For better look, you would need more chains. Also, this mechanism is super broken. Not only that your controllers have constraints on them, but it isn't intuitive for use. You need the active keyframe in the scene and also need to play the animation to not have cyclic dependency. On the other hand, there are noteworthy pros to this rig. Main one is that you can export your animations to game engines with this setup. Instead of going to the chaos of simulation, just ensure that you have the right scale and export it as FBX file. Not to mention that this mechanism is super easy to replicate and understand. That will be it for this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you need anything to be explained or you want to explain something, leave a comment. Click the bell to avoid missing new videos, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.